And welcome back to Good Day. You know, an incredible act of bravery by a single police officer stopped what could have been a terrible situation in Garland on Sunday. Pete Schulte, attorney, former police officer and prosecutor as well, joining us this morning. Police officers, unlike the rest of us, I mean, you see on television gunfire, everybody runs away. Police officers and people in the military are trained to run towards.
Right, they're drawn by gunfire,
Right.
and they're trained how to deal with it. In this particular situation, I mean, it's clear that without the police department, they're our first line of defense in anything. And I mean, this officer's an amazing hero with how he handled this.
I've known, and certainly you have known more police officers, some of whom don't practice very often with their handguns. This officer, 60 years old, 38 years in law enforcement, obviously gets to the gun range every once in a while.
Yeah, I had to smile a little bit when they're talking about that. He used to be a traffic enforcement officer on a motorcycle. We call them motor jocks in the line. It's funny that he's kind of transitioning off the motorcycle into the squad car. It's kind of taking his toys away, so to speak. But those guys loved, especially in Garland. When I was a prosecutor in Dallas, the guys in Garland loved to go to the range, and it's good. I mean, this is exactly why. And since September 11th, there's a real big focus for police officers to get out to the range because of situations exactly like this.
Yes, a little bit remarkable that when you first heard it, that a guy with a handgun who maybe had 17, 18 rounds in his magazine and probably 2 more on his belt, took down 2 guys with assault rifles, each of whom should have had at least 30 rounds in each one of those weapons.
Right. Amazing. I mean, he was able to engage. He maintained his sanity. He was calm. He executed, and boom, I mean, it ended the threat, and that's what they're trained to do. I mean, police officers they get out of the car, they unholster their weapon, they fire, and they keep shooting until the threat is over. That's how they're trained. That's exactly what happened in this situation.
If these 2 individuals, obviously this attack, fortunately for everybody except them, was not very well planned, certainly not very well executed. Had they been trained and had known what they were doing, could have been worse. Obviously, Garland had prepared very well for even a well-planned attack, not to mention a poorly planned attack.
I agree. I mean, there were issues that were, with how they executed the attack. I mean, again, we're hearing all kinds of things. Who's claiming responsibility for what happened? Right. The fact of the matter is that they try to enter a parking lot that was surrounded by police department, police officers that are trained to deal with the situation. This wasn't just an unknown deal. I mean, they've been planning for this since January. So how this kind of played out doesn't surprise me. I mean, kudos to that officer. And it doesn't surprise me that he doesn't want to be known.
No,
I mean, anytime a police officer gets in a shooting, whether it's a good shoot or not, it's going to affect somebody emotionally. And we need to give him time, but he's a hero. And that is our line of defense in this country, is our police officers.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.